Hey guys, Rick De La Boogs here, and I wanted to make this video because when I make these talking videos, it's something that I fully believe 100% in my heart that will benefit you. And I deadlifted the past 2 days, trap bar, of course, and then I did leg curls, hamstring curls, whatever you want to call them, just because a way that you can protect your ACL from injury down the road is just to always do extra for your hamstrings. Think of your hamstrings the same way as you think of your back for pressing, right? So if you press, you should do twice the pulling. Well, think about your hamstrings really that same way. Like if you're doing a quad dominant movement, just always do more hamstrings. And a lot of people neglect just doing leg curls because they think that it doesn't have any carryover to like deadlifts and squats. But Charles Poliquin would disagree that whatever, he doesn't say they have carryover to deadlifts and squats, but he does them with his athletes because he thinks that they will improve like sprinting speed, stuff like that. Whatever, that's not even my point. My point is you're always doing these hip extension movements for your hamstrings. Just make sure that you do a little bit of flexion. Just doing some knee flexion stuff to work your hamstrings as well. So working on that hip extension, but also that knee flexion, working your hamstrings through two different functions. But anyways, really strong hamstrings are going to prevent you from having ACL injuries down the road. That's just one way to bulletproof your knees. So if you're always doing like front squats or quad dominant squats, and a lot of people are like, well, can I do hack squats instead of conventional deadlifts, or can I do trap bar deadlifts instead of conventional deadlifts? Yeah, you can, obviously. You can do whatever you want, but just know that the hip hinge isn't quite as essential in like the hack deadlift and the trap bar deadlift. All right, you can do more leg drive, and you don't have to have that hard lockout either. So it doesn't require quite as strong of a posterior chain. So main thing is don't neglect your hamstrings. I think that's one of the things that maybe led to why I got injured down the road. Obviously, it was a freak thing, followed by another freak thing, but I got a leg curl at home. I should probably just use that puppy every day or at least every other day. But anyways, that's not even my point. My point is look at your hamstrings the same way. Like approach your hamstrings the same way that you approach your back when you're doing pressing. Just pull twice as much as you press, right? Volume-wise. But anyways, so that was just one golden tidbit to help you guys out with injury stuff. Another thing that I did today that I realized I got to start doing every single day now before I press, because you get older, I'm 30, right? I can't get away with things anymore. When I was a young buck, even when I was 26, I could just go in and max with like hardly any warming up. Like I used to do that when I was 25, I think. I would do like 3 sets total. Like 135, 315, and then whatever I was going to go for, 500 plus or something. But yeah, you can't get away with that anymore. So before you do like lower body stuff, you got to do TKEs just to get your VMO fired up to help stabilize your knee. Get those hamstrings warmed up, like warm them up really well. And then also just always cool down with doing some hamstring movements. But again, that's not even the point. Remember I told you guys all the time, like before you press and all that, do like handcuffs and do like Ys and Ts and all this type of stuff, right? Like Cuban rotations, things of that sort, just to get your shoulders warmed up. That's good. Keep doing that. But I found that stuff wasn't really helping me. I'm at a point because I've been pressing so much that I was feeling tweaked, right? Not injured by any means, like because I can do anything and everything. But just pressing just didn't feel good. So like when I started pressing today, just my pec was really tight, and I would have been a fool to keep pressing and not address that issue. So like if I can't address it and it feels bad, I'm just gonna stop, right? I'm just not even gonna bother because that's just how you get hurt. Like I've already learned my lesson. If something doesn't feel right or something feels a little tweaky, don't ignore it and don't push through it. So just something else that I tried then was, okay, I'm becoming an old man. Like I got to get things really warmed up. And doing mobility stuff is very important, but the actual warm up through like specificity and warming that muscle up, because I used to always just believe that like the best warm-up is just that particular movement itself. Like, just start really light with it, right? Do empty bar, 95 pounds, 135, whatever. But that wasn't even cutting it. I need to get more blood flow now. And if you guys can start doing this at an earlier age, too, you're enforcing good habits, and then you'll just never get hurt. You're going to get bulletproof. So I'll just get to my point that aside from doing all the shoulder stuff that I've showed you guys, like I did like 4 videos showing it all to you. I'll just see if I can get this set up well here. Okay. So, remember I made a video about doing super high rep banded stuff, and then I stopped doing that. But I wish I would have kept doing that because it's not going to make you any stronger, right? You might get an initial hypertrophy effect because it's such an initial shock where you're doing like hundreds and hundreds of reps. But if anything, if it's only good for one thing, it's this. So I started benching today and I did the empty bar and it felt fine. I did 95 pounds and it felt fine. And when I got to actually 135, believe that, 135, I started feeling it in my pec and I was like, well, this is Snap City if I don't do this and get smarter and start incorporating more extensive warm-ups. So just like with the band here, guys, like just doing like just this type of stuff through all different angles, right? That horizontal shoulder adduction. Doing that like I talked about the other day, like the power twister, but just doing it with like a light resistance band, doing it all different angles, right? Going high. Holy snaps, I didn't lock that in place, huh? But anyways, it doesn't seem like much, but it made a substantial difference to the point where 135 didn't feel good to where I was able to get 400 pain-free, no problem. So I want you guys to think about that. So aside from just doing like banded flies, then also just getting my biceps like really warm as well, because I think it's important. Advanced benchers, or not advanced, not the right word, but people that have been benching for a while and know how to bench, know that the bench is a full body exercise. So don't just like, well, I gotta get my shoulders warm and my triceps warm. Don't look at it that way. Like benching is gonna hit your anterior delts, your pecs, your triceps. But like everything's involved, right? Like if you really know how to bench and you know how to like use leg drive and brace your glutes and stuff, like your lower back will get really tight, your glutes will fire like crazy. You know what I mean? Your whole body's involved. So just even doing those banded curls as well, just to get your biceps warmed up. And I think it just improves stability of your shoulder going into the pressing. And so again, nothing groundbreaking here, guys, but something that I wanted to preach to you because it made a difference between me not even being able to bench 225 today and me benching 400. So going forward for everything I do, I'm going to start using that mentality of, let me just spend the extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes of workout, just get an insanely good pump, not obviously for bodybuilding purposes, but getting this crazy blood flow to my tendons, ligaments, and to the actual muscle tissue. You guys understand what I'm saying? So I'll keep doing that, just super high rep flies with the bands as well as curls. I did some banded push downs for the triceps obviously, but I don't think that really had much of an effect on actual pressing. But I know the banded curls did, and the flies felt really good. And then obviously doing, like I said, all the rear delt, rhomboid, mid, low trap work, YSTs, W's, all that good stuff going into it. Mobility. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's well worth it, because if you're going to do something every day or every other day and you want to do it for a prolonged period of time, you got to do it. Otherwise, you're just asking to get injured. So I'm going to keep doing that. And then before I deadlift from now on as well, I'm going to do light hamstring curls, as well as doing TKEs. So getting my VMO really firing and then getting my hamstrings warm, obviously. And then glute activation stuff's always important. That's always an emphasis. So kettlebell swings are really good because they get your glutes really fired up like crazy because it's lightweight, but you're getting a lot of reps in, and you're hitting each rep with max force. It's a ballistic movement. It's a really dynamic movement too, so it gets your nervous system fired up, ready to explode, as well as getting your glutes fired up as well. So before deadlifts, kettlebell swings, just high rep. Nothing crazy though, where it doesn't fry me going into deadlifts, but high rep leg curls and TKEs. So hope that guys, hope that, and I can't even talk right now. It's so hot in here, I'm just dead. Just put everything into that extensive warm up / bench press workout. But hope that will benefit you guys. I know it'll benefit some of you, and if we can I can't even talk right now. If we can prevent one ACL injury, one pec tear, right, rotator cuff injury, some impingement, anything like that, that's a win.